So the next one is the Berlin Blockade and NATO. According to the Marshall Plan, Stalin is not happy about that because he realized that the Marshall Plan would support and rebuild the economic in Western Europe after the World War II. So he decided to form Comecon, or Council for Mutual Economic Assistance, which advanced their economic in Eastern Europe and also ordered to rid their regimes of all non-communists. And finally, in 1948, the communists took over in Czechoslovakia, which complete the Soviet bloc. So in this picture, as you can see, the red part right here is belong to the communist nation, including Latvia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine, Poland, Romania, Georgia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, and Eastern Germany. However, Stalin's still not happy because French, British, and the American, they were trying to unite West Germany and giving them a new currency. So he afraid that the West was moving to reunite and rebuild Germany again. So he started to block all routes from the Western Germany to Berlin, and later known as Berlin Blockade. However, it's not a big deal for the British and American because they use an American and British cargo planes, flew food and supplies into the West Berlin from the sky. So this video will explain you more about the Berlin Blockade and the Berlin Airlift.
In 1948, the American, British, and French regions of Germany announced that they would be creating and using a new currency called the Deutschmark. This would replace the old German currency known as the Reichsmark. In response to this decision, the Soviet Union halted all traffic between East Berlin and West Berlin. They also severed all communications with the non-Soviet sectors of the city. Supply trains were turned around and even the electricity was cut from West Berlin. Since Berlin was located 100 miles inside the Soviet sector of Germany, this meant that the non-Soviet region of Berlin was completely isolated and in a hostile territory. At the time, this region of Berlin had enough food to last about 36 days and only 45 days worth of coal. By June 24, 1948, West Berlin was completely cut off from the rest of the world and surrounded by 2.5 million Soviet troops. On June 25th, the U.S., Great Britain, and other allied nations decided on a response. It became known as the Berlin Airlift. The Allies began flying planes into West Berlin, each one carrying loads of supplies, including food, coal, and other necessities. At first, progress was slow, but before long, fresh supplies were flowing into West Berlin by the minute. The Soviets were helpless to stop these flights. If they had opened fire on the aircraft, it would have been considered an act of war. So the planes were allowed to land, supplying West Berliners with the essential items and food that they needed. By April of 1949, the Soviets realized that their blockade effort was futile. And finally, on May the 12th, 1949, the Soviet blockade of Berlin came to an end.
In April 1949, the USA, Canada, Iceland, and 9 European nations formed an alliance called NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which to protect Western Europe from Soviet expansion. It is assigned to Soviet that if any attempt to expand in Europe would mean the war with the United States. As we knew that NATO controlled in the West, while in the East was controlled by the Communists and Soviet. But between these two powers is located in Germany, which is split into two states, the Communists in the East and the Capitalists in the West. However, the Communists has expanded into Asia too, including China, North Korea, North Vietnam, and Cuba. And as a result of this one, it came up with a horrible new weapon which put the world in danger.